deductible from personal line. It's been posted for the Texas Government Code 551, Veterans Texas Meetings Act. At this time, we can invoke the blessing of the Almighty. Commissioner.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this cooler weather that you've given us along with some rain. It's a very nice change for July in Texas. So anyway, we thank you for that. We thank you for all the other things you do. We ask you to be with the court as we make decisions today and in the future that will affect Hill County and the citizens. We ask you to be with all of our leaders and soldiers as they do what they can. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. If you're following the flags of the American and Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Thank you all for being this morning.
Well, we're dodging raindrops and trying to get chip seal project with the road finished, got culverts planted for the most part. We've got about 2,000 feet of road left to go on the southern end of the project. And then we'll move to the northern end of it and get that road prepped. Absent any deluge, and we'll move on track and we'll kind of tag team that with Larry and coordinating it because he says no, that's not true.
What's going on, precinct 2?
Well, they've been waiting on some water to start blading dragging some roads, and that's too wet this morning. Need a little sunshine now, but still hauling rock and trying to prep roads, get them ready. And we got to get Abbott chat ready here in the next few weeks to try to get it chip sealed and try to move on to some other roads. Getting the end of the budget's starting to get tight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It does. I appreciate you guys watching that. What's happening in precinct 2 this morning, Commissioner?
I stopped hauling rock this morning. Tried to blade a few roads yesterday and we ended up getting anywhere from an inch to 3 inches.
3 inches.
In places, yes. So that all came undone. But you never know.
I had an inch and a half in 30 minutes.
We had an inch and a little over an inch in 100s, but that was over a short while.
This was quick.
Yeah, it did.
That's just trying to get caught up on some rock, get it stopped.
Yeah, you got a unique problem so far from the pit that, yeah, you have to have it on hand if you can get it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lake, what's going on precinct 4?
No, we got 3 boom shredders going and 1 regular shredder, and 2 graders, so that's what we're doing now. Trying to get the trees out of the road where people scratch up their high dollar phone.
Gotcha. Good deal. Chief, what's happening with the SO today?
Well, we're just happy that you give the part time and today our numbers for the budget.
No, just really amazingly enough.
There's one still working with the sheriff elect, so.
Okay, good deal. Appreciate that. Constable Armstrong, how are things with the constables?
Pretty good so far.
It's early.
Haven't had anything yet.
I like that. It's a good way. Optimism is what I like about you. Rachel, anything in the director's office?
Just deployed 63 backup fuel cards with our fleet program.
Okay.
We've spent about $4,000 in the past 2 weeks just testing out different gas stations with our deputies. So far, everything's been going great.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you for doing that for us. Appreciate that. Maybe anything in county attorney's office, maybe?
No, I'm just elected county attorney, this is living his best life on vacation right now,
Yeah.
Charleston and Savannah, so just taking, we're looking south,
Hey, much harder we get there, we deserve reputation from us. Yeah, keep so much better than that. So, Philip, what you got in IT?
Judge, you know, the biggest story in IT from last Friday was the big outage, Hill County was affected. It's an early start for IT that day, but we had the vast majority of our systems up and running before 8 a.m. before work actually.
I can't thank you enough. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the worldwide computer outage that happened last Friday. We had our people had found it by 2 a.m. That's when I got a phone call from minutes after that, and then found it. I couldn't figure out what's going on in the middle of the night. The amazing part to me, I didn't figure out what that was. But by 3, we were able to get a solution and we're putting a fix on it. And, Philip and his team, Melissa and Wendy, just, did all out and got back up and running. The best, everything the county side was working well.
And Chris Jackson was also there, helping us out as well.
Yeah, Chris, pretty solid guy too.
Chris is a good guy.
Yeah, if you show up in person, we couldn't have them happen like that. See, this kind of, they're busy this morning. All right, well, I'll keep this moving for my end of things. It's budget time, yay, so what it means you don't see me much. Why am I not in my office? Because I can't get anything done in there. I have to sequester myself. So this week, I just tell you my office hours. I was budget all day yesterday at the home office. I'm here this morning, I'm here to report tomorrow morning for probate docket. Thursday, all budget again, sorry, but if it's really bad, like the court, no, I shouldn't say that. If it's really bad, yeah, just give me a phone call. I've still got a computer and and that. And then Friday I'll be all here. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on my schedule. If you're looking for me, get hold of this call this week. I know I have an open door policy. I want to have an open door policy. I don't want anybody ever to wait and see me. But when it comes down to this time of year, we really have to buckle down and get some things done. So that's what we're up to. Otherwise, we've been having some issues with bringing chillers. We're working through that. I don't understand one of them's been offline. It's a electronics issue for the board. So our two people on top of that working on it, and we've got a lot of things going our way. Hey, Jeff, what's happening this morning? We're going to be going on. No, good to hear. All right, well, this time then we're gonna move into open forum. Is there anybody here that wants to speak to the court about anything that's on our agenda or not on our agenda? And if you're here for the CASA folks, don't worry, we got you actually on the agenda, so you got plenty of time to talk. But if there's anything else that wants to address the board about, yes, sir. If you would state your name for the record, if you could limit your comments to about 5 minutes in duration, and as we respect, people respected. Yes, okay. You want to speed it up or? It'd be better because this room's acoustics are terrible.
Okay, I'm Clyde Stillman and I live on County Road 14, well, actually 1157 Hill County Road. And the reason I'm here is we've had property on 1446 and 1157, probably 40 plus years. And my wife and I moved here permanently about 5 years. She's a retired teacher from Blum, and I still drive into the Metroplex to work. And the reason why there's a development, I think it's a development going in on the corner of Hill County Road 1449 and 1446. There's about 10 acres. And and we see there's a lot of property out there going up for sale, and we saw the stakes. And I ran into one of my neighbors a couple of weeks ago, and he asked if I knew about the development, and I said no, and he told me that he had stopped and visited with somebody that was out there, and he gave me his card, but he said he thought it was a mobile home development. And I said, well, no, nobody had said anything. And so anyway, he gave me his card, and I called this gentleman, and he told me that he had purchased the property. His name was Joel Ashford, and he said that he is with Capital Group Investments out of Farmers Ranch, and they had a website, Texas Land Investments and Lands and Ranches. And if I questioned, I said, well, do you own the property or another guy owns, somebody else own the property? He said, well, there's another guy named Peter. And I said, well, can you give me his name and number? He said, I don't know his last name, and I don't have a phone number for him right now. And so I'm just thinking, so you work for this gentleman and you don't know his last name or phone number. And as I questioned him more about it, he was just very evasive, and I said, well, just call me back in a week. And he said, the gentleman's from India, he'll be back in town. So a couple of days after that, this was 2 weeks ago, I called Commissioner Holcomb and asked him if he had known anything about it, because several of our neighbors, we were just wanting to find out. I mean, we're not opposed to it or anything, we're just wanting to find out, especially the impact it has on property around the area. Commissioner didn't know anything about it and told me to do some more research, so I called him on Friday of this week. And he told me, again, he didn't want to give out the owner's name, And I said, well, that's just public information. I said, I could get that from the office. It was under his name, but I didn't pursue that any. I just wanted to know what the restrictions were and everything. And he said that, well, all he could tell me is there were going to be 1.1 acres and it's going to be restricted for homes and trailer homes not more than 5 years old. And so I pursued to say, okay, is he going to retain ownership? Is he selling the property? Is he going to finance it and all this? And he just wouldn't answer any more questions. And he says, well, you can just send me an email with all your questions. If you have any concerns, you can go to Commissioner's Court. And I said, well, we don't have any concerns that none of the property owners around here have had any contact with anybody, and just would like to talk about the possible financial impact it might have on the property owner. And also, if there are restricted areas, we're concerned about, people raise goats out there and have cattle, and if they're going to put up fences, just all those types of things that you want to find out. And anyway, the gentleman went at it, and I've gone to the websites, and they're not active. The two that he gave me, and so I'm going to send him some questions, and hopefully I can get a response. But it just raised my level of concern about this is just kind of small, but just a huge impact on Hill County, because as some of you probably listened to Dr. Perryman a few months ago, who was talking about Hill County. I mean, you're in a prime location here, an hour from the Metroplex, an hour from Waco, and there's a lot of property for sale in Hill County right now. Unfortunately, nobody's going to be farming anymore. You can't buy $15,000 acreage and farm. You're going to have to inherit it, and so developers are going to come in, and that's not a problem. Just want to make sure that if it goes to the Commissioner's Court, that whatever restrictions or promises that they make, that somebody is monitoring those and following those, because we don't want to get in a situation like down in Harris County when the Colony Ridge situation that they're dealing with is coming in, because the county wasn't really prepared for those types of development. But this one, since it impacts us, our property's not even adjacent to it. We're about a quarter of a mile away, but we just want some answers, and I'm going to work with the commissioner about that. But I just want to know if anybody's heard anything.
I'm not familiar with this particular project. We do have projects that happen all the time around here. The county has subdivision rules and regulations. Those you can find them on our county website. They're about 81 pages, so I don't print them off for everybody. It kills too many trees. But we continuously revise. As a matter of fact, the revision should come out a little bit later this year. As things change on the ground, as we find new things. For example, we don't talk about tiny homes at the moment. That's the next thing that we're putting into our subdivision rules. But we do regulate mobile home parks, mobile home subdivision land. I can't get too far into this because it's on the agenda. But thank you very much for your comments. If you want to hang around after the next talk, you want.
But I'll touch base with the commissioner.
All right, thanks, sir. Thank you. Anybody else for the this morning? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Barrett. We don't love you, Mr. Good. Everybody else for the record.
Okay. Anyway, I just had a question on FM 2959. There's signs up saying they're going to close it on the 29th of July.
Have heard that yet. Thank you for letting me know.
Okay, and so I wanted to see if Mark knew anything on it yet.
No, they haven't sent me anything either.
Big sign says expected to close on July 29th.
Is it a bridge or is it, so they're redoing the whole road from 77, we'll start 77 east, go over 35 east, go back over 35 west to 81.
Right.
And they're supposed to be upgrading that road safety shoulders, rebuilding the road bed, but they didn't tell us anything about closing it. So
Well,
that's
the sign says they're closing, and so I don't know if that's just for the 8-hour workday, 10-hour workday.
Richard, I got your number in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call the TxDOT engineer after this meeting and I'll let you know what's going on.
Okay.
I got
my card ready.
And
the rain is muddy, right? So you might want to wait.
Until budget gets out of the way, I'm pretty much stuck doing one thing and one thing. And one thing.
There you go.
Appreciate you. All right.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate all you do.
Anybody else for the forum this morning? If not, we're gonna move along then. At this time, we will consider our consent agenda. Today we have action on minutes, action on invoices, action on payroll, action on monthly report for revenue disbursement, and observing report elected officials training. If there's any individual item you want to take off, so we may have further discussion, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make the motion approved.
Second, the motion, Commissioner Crompton, second, Commissioner Holcomb. You guys see the approval counts. I didn't print that off for everybody this week, like last week when I killed about 3 reams of paper. So that happens when you're using my own devices, but you did get this email from the treasurer's office. So, all right, which case, motion to second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motions are carried unanimously, and I'm going to start the paperwork around. We get on our agenda. So today's first order is going to be discussion and or discusses or approve employee wage and status changes for this day. There we go. Oh, I got to make a point on the last one too, on the consent agenda. This is a working trial balance on the combined statement of receipts and disbursements that you gentlemen received. Me and Susan were trading, she was working on this 8:30 last night. How do I know that? Because we were trading emails at that hour. So there's a couple of things here that are going to change slightly. So don't take this as biblical truth. This is just a working trial. Balance for you on that one. So employee wage status changes in the state. William Burns for the sheriff's office is promoted to jailer 1. Congratulations, Mr. Burns, on your promotion. Dalton Carter of the sheriff's office promoted to jailer 1. Congratulations, Mr. Carter. You're having a good run a lot in the jail this week. You got Samuel Corley also promoted to jailer 1. And you have Jason Sparks promoted to jailer 1. And Taylor Shimade promoted. You got a bunch of new jailers, right?
Yeah, well, they all finished their state training and got their skills done. So
Wonderful. So welcome, Blake Turner, and we have Kyle Gottschalk that moved to deputy 1. Kristen Alex Stillman received intermediate PO. And we have Pete Honorala promoted from sergeant to lieutenant. Robert Villarreal, sheriff's office, is promoted to deputy 1. Terminations this way is Miss Marcia Food. She's moved on to rear factor. So those are the employee wage status changes for this day.
Make a motion, please.
Motion second. Any further discussion regarding this? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Moving on, number 2, and this is some of our friends that do a heck of a job for us in this court, commissioner's court, that we don't see very often, but they hold a very special place in the Texas jurisprudence, and that is the court appointed special advocates. They are a voice for children when they have no other voice often. So this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Secretary to come up and give us a presentation.
I have some handouts for you.
Thank you. Just as a refresher for the commissioners, we do fund a this amount each year to the court appointed special advocate to help offset their costs of doing business.
All right. Well, thank you. My name is Sarah Gardner. I'm the new executive director of CASA of Hill County, Texas. And today I just want to tell you a little bit about us. You may know about us, but I want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Thank you for your financial support over the last year. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. Our advocates are individuals from all walks of life, and several of them are here in the courtroom today, that volunteer their time to speak for abused and neglected children in foster care in Hill County. Each of these volunteers have taken 30 hours of training, observed 2 hours of court proceedings in the county court at law, passed numerous background checks and interviews, all before being sworn in by Judge Matt Crane as a guardian ad litem for the court. The Texas Family Code sets forth the duties and responsibilities of the guardian ad litem, and our advocates are trained to be able to perform their duties as outlined in the Texas Family Code. In February of 2018, a local group of concerned citizens met to form a CASA program for Hill County. Previously, McLennan County had covered both Hill and McLennan counties, but in 2017, they needed to focus their efforts in McLennan County, leaving Hill County without a program. With the assistance of Texas CASA, this group of citizens decided to form an independent program for Hill County. You can see the steering committee that was formed to guide the process until the new organization had been incorporated and joined Texas CASA. In May of 2018, CASA of Hill County, Texas was incorporated as a corporation with the Secretary of State, and in September of 2018, it received its 501c3 designation from the IRS. Upon receiving that designation, Hill County CASA was admitted as the 72nd member program in the Texas CASA organization. A board of directors, as designated in your handout, as the first board was formed, and the search for an executive director began. In November of 2018, Don Rawls filled that role. He inherited one volunteer, Dr. Carol Byer, who was asked by Judge Crane to remain on her case from the McLennan Hill CASA program. In January of 2019, the executive director of Johnson County and the executive director of Ellis County came to help our program as advocates. 2 of these 3 advocates are still actively serving on cases today. In March of 2019, the first training class was held with 6 volunteers completing and being sworn in as advocates. CASA of Hill County has a mission statement to speak for the best interests of abused and neglected children in Hill County. When a child is removed from their home by CPS, the judge appoints CASA and an attorney ad litem for the child. The attorney ad litem speaks for the legal interest of this child. And if the child is old enough to verbalize their wishes, the attorney ad litem must represent that to the judge. CASA advocates speak on what the best interest of the child is, which may or may not be what the child wants. Once appointed to a case, CASA staff meet to discuss which advocate to assign to the case, and upon assignment, the advocate signs a letter of acceptance and begins to work the case. It is the responsibility of the advocate to speak with CPS workers, attorneys, parents, foster placements, relatives, teachers, doctors, neighbors, and more that may know something about the child and their situation. In each case in Texas, the judge must by law render a finding regarding the permanent placement for a child within a year. During that year, our advocates continue to meet with the child monthly and to advocate for their well-being. This involves trips to see the child in person, attending regular meetings for the child, and attending court hearings where the advocates file a report to the judge and give an oral report as to the advocate's opinion for what the best interest is for that child. As you can see, our program has grown quite a bit since 2018. We have increased the number of advocates that are serving our kids here in Hill County, but unfortunately, we have increased the number of Hill County kids that we are serving. One of our faithful advocates, Rhodey Rawls, has a saying, "But for CASA." And the backstory of that comment is another case where if it hadn't been for CASA, a child would have gone lacking for some physical, emotional, educational, medical, or social need. Our advocates are passionate defenders of the children we serve, and sometimes that advocacy ruffles feathers. And yet they continue to persevere in a bureaucratic system that seems determined to force every child into a round hole. These children are traumatized, some more than others, and some are affected by that trauma more than others. But each child deserves someone that is looking out for their best interests, unencumbered by the bureaucratic policies and procedures. Our advocates have, while visiting children in a family placement, uncovered continual physical abuse and neglect and reported it to CPS. These children were immediately removed and placed with a loving family who will adopt them later this year. One advocate walked alongside a mom who was turning her life around. She helped by encouraging her, building her up, listening to her. This mom was able to be reunited with her child, whom she hadn't had a relationship with since before the CPS case began. They continue to grow and thrive together here in Hill County. Another CASA advocate worked to obtain shoes and school supplies for children placed with family out of state. Out-of-state adoptions are slowed down by many factors, but CASA can and does provide specific assistance to our children as we are able to, prioritizing kinship or family placements. And there are many more stories I could tell you from our advocates, finding family members, advocating with teachers for accommodations, advocating for visits with friends and family that the kids know, and encouraging places to strive for normalcy for these children. In CPS cases, there are many players that interact with this child, and they change quite a bit. But CASA advocates stay with each child until they find a permanent home. Sometimes that's within a year, and sometimes it takes several years. And sometimes these children continue to maintain with contact with their CASA even after their case is over, because that was a person who was on their side. I do want to take just a minute to thank you for your financial support over the last fiscal year. We were able to hire a new staff member in our office who serves as our office manager and recruiter. And it's through her dedicated time that we have already sworn in 5 new advocates this year and have a class starting next week to train 5 more. As with any program that grows, the financial needs of the organization grow. Our expenses have grown every year. In 2023, the grants from Texas CASA, our main source of support, were cut by $21,000.
Can you imagine what the potential gas? So you give you a reason.
No, it's-
1,000 less.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because our funding comes from both a state and federal grant. So federal grants through HHSC, and the state grant is the VOCA, so it comes from the governor's office. So just, budget cuts. We've already been told this year to expect a 15% cut in funding for the upcoming fiscal year. There are now 74 CASA programs serving nearly every county in Texas, and the counties provide support for their local programs. So I'm requesting that Hill County enter a new agreement for the next fiscal year. We are requesting $30,000 this year to help continue serving the children of Hill County with CASA advocates. These children often refer to their CASA as my CASA. So you can see from the proposed budget in your packets, I've also outlined what we would use the funding for. And there's also our budget for the next year, that the county funding is only a portion of our funding. We've sought out an additional grant through VOCA this year, and we have our fundraisers. And so you can see that in your packet.
Put a plug for your fundraiser in front of the newspaper later.
Yeah.
I think you should do that.
Yeah, we have our, we're sold out, so I can't sell you any tickets, but our first bingo is coming up August the 10th.
Okay.
We sold out 3 or 4 weeks ago, so we have more tables than we've ever had and more purses than we've ever had, and we're still selling raffle tickets, so.
If you can't go this year, you look for next year.
Yeah, if you can't go this year, the day after, give our office a call and reserve your spot for next year, so. Thank you. So does anybody have any questions?
Questions from Mr. President? No, I think we get the basic, just we'll get them on.
Thank you. And I know our previous agreements said to give y'all an audit, independent financial audit, so
Sorry, I gotta do that.
I have it.
It's awesome, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Wonderful. So we have no major findings. We have a clean opinion. That is great. Okay, well, the only action you can ask for today is to adjourn for the cost finding for the previous fiscal year. But as we go through the budget time, you can see that they have a request. I don't think that request is out of line. I think there were a number of children they managed to serve. The first year, 2018, we had 1 child, and last year, 113 children, and then year to date already 95 children. Judge, you want to talk about what this means in your full-time functions?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for any support that you can give CASA. If you come to my court on Thursday, we have CPS on Thursday, and you're welcome to come sit in and kind of see how their role is in the courtroom. But I will tell you that their role in this courtroom is not near what their role is outside. Their job is outside. So when you come, it's kind of a summary. They provide a report to me. I'll review that report. Sometimes I'll get up there, might fill in the holes or if there are issues that arise during the hearing that they might speak on, but they're the soldier, they're the foot soldiers. They're the ones that are going to see the doctors. They're the ones that are going to talk to the teachers. They're the ones that are making sure that these kids have the care that they need while they're in their department's care. They're valuable resources. They're for the court. They help me make a better decision, and any help that you can give them, it's a good thing. It also, if you are interested in being a volunteer, know someone that is. Come on about CASA. You make a difference in somebody's life, for sure.
I'll make the motion to adjourn for CASA Workforce Special Advocates audit for the previous fiscal year. Is there a second to that? Second. A motion to second to adjourn for discussion. Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carries unanimously. And when we go through our budget time, the next 45 days, we'll definitely keep you guys in touch. I'll let you know how it pans out, but I'm favorably inclined to doing this. I think it's something that's doable. So, all right, thanks so much. All right, moving on to our next agenda item here this morning. We have discussed and or action on the credit application for a precinct 1 DC tire.
Big country.
Big country. Okay. Like before,
Used to be Ware's Giant Tire, our Boone Country. They got bought out, and this is just a formality. We've been dealing with them for the last year.
okay.
Their prices on our heavy equipment tires are probably half of what we find in our warehouse.
Okay, was that a motion then?
Yes, I make a motion.
Second. Motion second to approve credit application for Hill County Precinct 1 for BC Tire. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, none carried unanimously. Move that. Number 5 is observe the daily community service and correction department budgets for FY25 budgets in front of me. I can tell you that once again, Greg Mason and Keith Manning have done an incredible job over there, literally doing something with nothing to a large degree. They have a clean opinion. And this has been gone over by our own auditor, Ms. Susan Swilling, and I recommend that we observe and record the 2025 community service correction department budgets. Motion. Second. Got it. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. So, once today, yes, we did, right there. So we have bonds today for Constable Precinct 2. There you go.
Make a motion.
Motion second to approve bond for Constable Precinct 2. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carried. Now we'll get down to number 7, which is discussion and or action, healthcare request approval. And I'll come back to number 4 because I clearly missed that just a second ago. But let's get on with the healthcare aspect of it. Gentlemen, you run for RFP, our healthcare coordinator, if you will, our broker, has come back with 2 really good options. One of them just significantly financially better, not only for the county, but for the employees, and the other, though it's new, it's caused me to go out and look. I feel comfortable with it. So, Rachel, you want to tell us what you found out about Curative since our last meeting?
Sure, sorry, we just something to look around here, they currently.
Sorry, I know you don't want to stand out, but you can't hear anything in here.
Sorry, we talked to Patillo Brown and Hill, they currently use Curative. They've been on it for about 2 months and have seen no significant issues. Granted, they are in Waco, they're closer to the public pharmacies. I've worked with Scott on the local pharmacies, prescription pharmacy on Whitney. Is Walgreens in the works or?
It's in the works.
In the works. Here locally, we have Eagle Drug, we have Walmart, and then any HEB. You can do mail order to your house, same day or next day delivery. You can go pick it up or the local pharmacy if you're choosing. And I reached out to Orange Theory. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, they're a gym network.
I've only become familiar with it in the last week. Before I had like Orange Theory, what is like Stanley Kubrick?
So they went on with Curative from another major network. Someone had a baby the first month, completely covered 100%, no out-of-pocket cost. Another company, they had an employee on it less than 2 weeks, went skiing in Colorado, paid for everything, no out-of-pocket cost to the member.
For the ski trip, or just abandoned it?
I wish it was been some song. So, I mean, it really truly is 0 out-of-pocket cost to our members if you use an in-network company.
So let's talk about that. I've been looking at it. Obviously, it's no secret I have health issues. I have quite a large number of doctors. I have found that UT Southwest, where the majority of my doctors are, is in network. Did anybody else look at theirs like we asked and see if they were coming around, if I had any concerns about their doctors not being in network? No. Okay, because everybody up here understands, good old Witcher,
Whitney,
those associated with Providence and
Baylor.
Taylor Scott, I forget, I don't want to say Hillcrest. And then Whitney as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So I mean, all of our, even a lot in Cleburne, a lot of our employees go to the Cleburne area. So they're even covered there. If you find that someone isn't, we can reach out to Scott and just work to get them in network. It's a simple process.
And this is a pretty significant savings for the county.
It is. Over a 2-year period, we'll save about $850,000 and they're willing to give us a 2-year quote.
That's the other thing that's amazing. I mean, one thing that there's no out-of-pocket expenses, so the employees save massively on that, but it's another, they're willing to guarantee this rate for 2
2 years. And I'll also share some of the struggles we currently have with Blue Cross Blue Shield. A lot of people aren't using their second red card.
Yes.
And people come to me and say, Rachel, they're asking for $6,000-$7,000. I thought we had, a cheaper deductible. Well, they're not verifying the secondary card, and we have to work with Scott, Steve, Kelly a lot for these members to get their deductible down. A lot of them don't realize the second card exists. They never get it in the mail. They're not sure what it does. And then people just pay those, bills out of their own pocket and have to fight to get their money back. And it takes upwards of a year to reach out to each company. I've successfully, one of our members got back over $8,000 in the course of a year. Yeah. And with Curative, all that goes away. Every bit of it goes away.
Commissioners, your thoughts, so,
Sign me up.
I told you last week.
make a motion.
I'll make a motion, go with security.
Second.
Motion second to accept a bid received from Curative to provide health care for Hill County for the next 2 years. Which I believe we can do.
Again,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so any further discussion, questions? Going once, going twice, I'm gonna answer the question, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions, motion shall carry. Thank you for this, appreciate it, Scott. As I understand, we're gonna have the truncated timeline, maybe the first full week of August, we're gonna do, there's work for slipping line.
It's gonna be the third week of the month.
Third week.
Third week. I can't be in two places at once doing budget hearings.
One thing about this is remember, and my next comment is really aimed at reflect everyone in fish. There is a 45-minute Zoom conference call that these employees have to take. I am saying that this is part of their job duties. I'm not trying to make somebody do this after hours all the time. Part of saving the county taxpayer money is our job. So I'm going to allow my employees, it's responsible to me to do that 45-minute interview while they're on the county clock. Does that make sense to everybody? So if there'll be any questions about how that works out, just to let you know the example I'm going to put out there, because I think it's in our best interest to make sure that employees have access to do these things. And clearly it's everybody's financial best interest to do that. From what I can ascertain about this 45-minute, they're gonna ask you about it. They're gonna ask you about what's going on and generally get to know you and what should you be doing in order to move into a healthier lifestyle. So if they wait, it's not always waiting, these otherwise.
And if you don't do the call, then you're just gonna hit the higher deductible. So instead of the $0 cost, you're now gonna have a deductible and out-of-pocket cost. So it really is in everybody's best.
5,000?
5,000.
Yeah, say 5,000 about it, 45-minute call.
Yes, anybody over the age of 18. So if you have children on your plan, they're in college, you're still carrying those children with student college. We also need to adopt our ancillary services, and then Scott has a presentation about our ambulance and aid.
Okay, well, you want to do the presentation before or after ancillary services?
Report.
I'm just asking what can flow better. I know part of the ancillary services, we're gonna have to adopt our vision, and our,
Cancer, short-term disability.
yeah, exactly, what you call that is, I'm just.
We can let Scott do his presentation.
So, Matha, it's kind of a new company, been around a few years. We have it in a lot of courts and a lot of independent businesses. What it covers is air and ambulance transport to the United States. So any air ambulance that you're at, you know, a lot of times, you know, each individual county or cities have local agreements with other ones, but this one, no matter who shows up, you're not having to worry about having to show a card or you contracted with this one. It covers all air and ground transport. It also handles transporting between hospitals. Sometimes one hospital may be a specialty hospital and they got to send you across town. They're going to throw you in an ambulance and charge you for that. So the good thing about Massey is it covers all of that at 100%. It's just an option we want to provide to the employees. We do have two different options. There's an option at the county. They've started, it's $11 for a family. If you just offered it to the employees, I think it's 14. It goes up a little bit just because they don't know how many people take it, so it has to increase in the price. So great, continental United States covers everybody. We have it at ANCO. Give you references if you need it, but I mean it's just a great plan. So
I think we ought to offer it to the employees. I know right now, if you live in the inappropriate areas of Door County, well, all the county except for Hillsborough, City of Hillsborough City, we live in. EST2, that's one of the providers ambulance service. They provide a membership to Care of Life, it's called Caring Heart. I can't remember what the one to Air Life is, but it's only those two. So if you're in an accident somewhere in Hill County, and you are a taxpayer in EST2, your bill's covered. That's it. But that only applies to those folks. So folks live inside cities, Hillsborough, Whitney, it doesn't. And then there's also further limitations on those plans that they offer, because once you get outside the state of Texas or their service areas, who knows what you're going to do. So we traditionally allow those two parties, Care of Life, to provide an option to employees pay for the totality of it. But this also sounds like a really interesting way to cover a lot more coverage for a lot less cost. Because the care flight was in.
Like 45 a year and 65 a year, and then, so then that's just one company, so if you partner with both, you're spending over $100 a year, and that's just two companies. Neither of those companies could come together if you really needed it, it could be another.
So again, it's just an ancillary benefit that we offer at no cost to the county, and if that's something that you guys are interested in, I would advise you go ahead and make a vote to allow them to offer that. The other thing on our other ancillary services is we've had Guardian for a couple of years now, 5 years, I can't remember off the top of my head, and their prices have stayed the same. So that's a pretty good deal in this economy, that we're not gonna pay any more vision or dental or ADP. So that's what's before you is, what do you want to do about the ancillary services?
And you said it's 14 a month?
14 a month for family, yes, sir. So it's just the offering for the employees. It's just, if they want to take it, they can. If they don't, they don't have to. So, shouldn't be an issue.
So I have a motion and a second. My motion is to approve the ancillary services as presented to us, including the MASA. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And your second is the same. I just want to clarify for you. In which case then, is there any further discussion? Commissioner, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to be, if that's coming out of payroll or get to pay separate,
It comes out.
this payroll.
That's a great question. And when you go through open enrollment, any of these additional ancillary services you may take advantage of, they sign you up and it does get deducted automatically from your check. So makes it pretty easy. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Susan?
On the motion, so you approve to pay for everyone or to let people choose? I didn't hear what to.
Let people choose. Yeah, no. I don't have the budget room to pay for everybody. Too German to spend that. So thank you. Yes. Be clear. That's it. Let's do this, gentlemen. I'm gonna ask you to rescind your motion to your second for a second. Make this into two motions to clarify. Because we couldn't get it clear in the courtroom. How we're gonna get it clear later.
Good point.
So let's do first discussion. Is there a motion to approve to offer the MASA program to the county employees, understanding the county's not paying for it?
Make a motion to approve the MASA as a payroll deduction.
Yes. Second. So a motion second to offer the MASA program to the county employees with no cost to the county. not paying. Any further discussion? If there being none, I call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and those know it. Now let's go back to the second motion, which is to approve the bid from Guardian for the ancillary insurance products. That would be our dental, our vision, our AD&D.
Your short-term disability, long-term disability.
Yes.
Tax, critical illness.
Yeah, so same as last year, no change in price. The motion from Commissioner Watkins to approve the aforementioned ancillary benefits, is second from Commissioner Blake. Further questions, discussion? Going once, going twice, going to call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carries. Scott, thank you. It's always great to have a Hill County guy here that's done this and like doing business in this county. So thank you for being here for this and explaining this to us. Guys, I need to circle back real quick to number 4, which I apparently just looked right over. That's in reserve with the annual salary of assistant county auditors. You'll see that Mrs. Kathy, hey guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here. All you guys do, thank you. Reserve report the official county auditors. That's going to be for Ms. Kathy Moore, Ms. Daisy Vasquez, and Tammy Triggs. Ms. Triggs, Ms. Vasquez, you guys are line. Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate it. You're gonna say something? I got that look like maybe I did something. Okay, cool. All right, so I would make a motion that we observe report the 3 aforementioned annual salary of assistant county auditors. Mrs. Vasquez and Mrs. Triggs are new employees to the department. You got familiar with Ms. Catherine, she's been around before. She's actually splitting half the time between the auditor, half the time between the treasurer, and she's been a real asset for us, so we really appreciate her and what she does. Oh, just a second. Hey, Lindsay, are you there? This is Lindsay Kennedy. This is the state representative area district director, and we're going to tell you, hey, happy birthday. We can't hear you, so happy birthday to you anyway. Just saw you there, so I say that out. It's Lindsay's birthday today, so you can get a chance to see her, tell her happy birthday. Number 8, and the final item on our agenda, is discuss an action of agreement between Hill County, Texas, and the Texas Department of Public Safety. So this is a user agreement that we have come before us on occasion. What this does is it allows us to purchase driver's record to monitor the driving. We have CDL drivers, there's certain federal rules, certain things that we have to pay attention to. For many years, our insurance company checked our drivers, CDL drivers, driver's license to make their good. You know, we hire somebody, we need to check occasionally if they have a valid driver's license. Well, about 10 years ago, TAC quit doing it, so we do it in-house. To do that, there's some questions on how we need to get some details worked out in the administration of things here. But the first thing is that this agreement between us and the Texas Department of Public Safety allows us to access to those driver's licenses to make sure that we don't have anybody doing anything towards it. So we've done this in the past, but out of abundance of caution, because it is contractual language, I have brought it back before the commissioners field today, and I'm asking you guys to approve an agreement to purchase driver records or driver record monitoring services from the Texas Department of Public Safety. Make a motion.
So,
Motion is second to approve that agreement. Is there anything further? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my agenda for this morning. I appreciate everybody being here, all of you that joined us online. Tom, hope things going well with you. But at this time, Commissioner Crumpton.
make a motion adjourn.
Motion is second. Any further